So I was never the type to read books because I always thought, it's boring. Why should I do it? For example, textbook haunted me. I had to be reading books for minutes and hours sometimes. For example, I had a book called War and Peace in my school, which I had to read, and it was 1400 pages. And that was a nightmare for me, for example, because first of all, it's long. Second of all, what if I don't like it? Third of all, I thought it's a waste of time because it's books, boring, for example. But then I realized maybe I'm looking at the wrong way. Maybe I'm reading the wrong books. And maybe I should look for different books and I should think about it in different ways. So I started reading the book War and Peace in high school. And in the beginning, I did not really like it. But because the story, I was like, okay, I like stories. But it's so long. And the teacher, he's an awesome teacher, Mr. Jensen, he was telling me his policy was that we have to read the book and he would give us quiz to test our knowledge, and he would give little small details questions that if we read the book we would know. And it was really good because it made me read the book, all of it, I think. And from there I kind of liked the idea of reading books, but it was just stories, right? And then what I realized is that as I was going to college from high school, so this was in high school, so I was going to college, and once I went to college, I was reading a bunch of books as well, but not really because it's textbook. Who opens them, right? And I thought textbook and books are all the same. All books are same, right? But then I kept seeing motivational videos because I wanted to go to gym all the time. But then again, I kind of lose motivations once in a while. So I was thinking, what should I do? How would I keep my motivations? So I like watching motivational videos because they give you motivations. But then it's temporary, and how much can you learn from a video, right? So, but the motivation keeps saying to read books. So it was not even over there as a topic. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? So then I realized that, oh, I like certain types of book. So I like business, I like money, who doesn't, for example. But I like the idea of money being not just in my hand. I want to help out people and I want to help them make money. Like one of the ideas, because I come from a country where it's considered to be third world, but it's a lot of people who are amazing at what they do and they're not earning compared to me or here in America almost nothing. And that makes me really upset sometimes and kind of or worried for the fact that they're equally talented, maybe more talented than some of us here, and they're earning almost like 1/10 or less than that, right? So I was like, okay, what if uh, there's a solution which can help people get jobs which are equally valuable and equally return value to them. So and then so many ideas like that keep coming in my head, and I was searching for solutions. I'm still searching for solutions. So I was like, how can I learn things? So I realized that I like to search in Google a lot of things, and so I was like, I'm reading all the time about this cool thing. So I'm reading, you see. So I was like, okay, so I only read like articles and stuff just to find whatever is interesting to me. Then I was thinking, what if, and the articles always mention, oh, this from this book or from that book and from there and here. I was like, oh, they all come from books. So I don't like the idea of reading so much like a book, but maybe there is like sections, content, table of contents, where there's interesting things I have to learn or I can learn. So from there, I kept looking at books, and I realized that I don't. It's not that I don't like to read books. It's just that I was thinking of the wrong books when I think of books. Maybe I like books that are interesting to me. For example, growth is very important to me. I want to grow as a person. I always like to improve myself. I don't know, it's just something I like to do, right? For example, I play soccer on the side on weekends. I was not very good at it. I'm still, I think I'm good, but I don't think in reality I'm that good. So I wish to get better. So I always have this tendency to get better at things, and I want to get better at things. So I was like, maybe I should look into books that make me grow. So from there, I searched up, top 20 books to read. And I found this book. I don't know if you can see because the light. It's The Magic of Thinking Big. That's the number one book that was recommended to me from an article. So I had this book already. Someone gave me. I actually, it was not a person who I would want to get the book from. It was just like a triangle, those business scheme. One of the person, she was nice person. She gave me one time. She said, "Read this book. It's gonna help you." But after the time I had the experience with them, having to go to the places where, they're like those pyramid scheme. I don't like the idea of it. It was too much. So I kind of dropped the whole idea of going there. Like there was like people who with meetings, and you have to go there and you have to get people to be in the pyramid, and I make money, they make money, and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I don't like the idea. But the book she gave, she said, you can take it, it's for free. But I never really opened the book. It was just there. And you know how we have a bunch of books in a like, shelf, looks nice, but we never open them. Yeah, I have a lot of them. So I was like, I have this book. I never realized this. And sorry, I keep doing this to my tongue. I have it. So uh, I got this book from my shelf, and I was like, okay, let's have a reading for this book. Why is it number one recommended book if you want to read books? So then I started reading this book, and it has really amazing ideas, which I never realized. So I realized that books bore me, right? But this book doesn't bore me for some reason. Why? Because it has ideas that I would want to know. For example, there's this idea of how to think big. Now, I always think somewhat big, irrational thinking, unrealistic. I'm kind of unrealistic thinker. So it in here it says, this unrealistic thinking is okay. So like, okay, you support me, and then I continued um, learning about it, and then it says, how to get the action habit, how to defeat your fear, and how to get into victory thinking, how to think like a leader, how to grow as a person, how to have goals that help you grow, and how to think and dream into create like dream creatively, how to think and dream and then bring them to reality, things like that, how to talk to people, how to be a how to think right toward people, and stuff like that. Every one of them is interesting, so I didn't really like read them from page to page. What I did is I was like, okay, I like the idea of get the action habit. So I went to the page 212, and I read, and I was like, oh, that's really cool idea. For example, how to think or write toward people, the chapter. Let's say it was on 192 page. So I went on to 192. Let me go right now. And okay, 192. I marked whatever it says. So I learned one thing. Every successful business, every success, anything and everything, it depends on people. Like for example, Amazon CEO. He's Amazon CEO, and he's making billions not by himself, by people around him, people who work really hard and they're passionate about Amazon, the idea of Amazon, and they spread. So it was the support of people that made billionaire. A billionaire or any successful people, they were made successful by support of people. So this is an amazing idea, and you have to remember that you have to think right toward people. Okay, so it says here, my lips are really dry, so therefore I keep uh, wetting them. So here it says that we have to remember how to remember people's names. This will make them feel important. So everybody wants to feel important. That's something I learned from this book. Even as a child, I want to I remember people who made me feel important, or who made me feel happy about myself or better about myself. if you respect a child, for example, right, this child will not disrespect you. I- like it may be like, maybe some child, their habits or their behavior is not so much as we want them to have. Like some kids are really polite, but some kids are like a-hole, right? So but if you respect all the kids, right, eventually they will they'll get the time, like once a time, you will see that they like you or they respect you back. It's like if you respect people, or generally they will not disrespect you, and everybody wants to be respected. For example, a janitor, a person you think of lowly stature, um, let's say person who like does laundry, or someone who cleans the toilet, or a garbage man, everybody wants to be respected. It's not like their profession will make them less tolerant of respect or disrespect, right? So this book gave me so much ideas. I was like, wow, I never thought of this. Like for example, here it says that if you want to win fans, how you should win fans. You know how we wait for people to approach us, to be like, for example, you went to a meeting, you don't know many people, so you just stay in one place, right? But a good person would be someone who thinks big. They'll go up to people. Let me take a breath because I'm speaking too fast. They would go up to people and they would say, hey, what's up, or ask the name and whatever, right? So it was giving me so many ideas of how to think big. Another book I'm reading right now is called The 4 Hour Work Week. Even though this book I'm reading for like months, but I have the habit of what do you call that word, like keeping things for later. uh, I forgot the word. uh, it's in my head. So basically in this book it says how to outsource your income or your work to people who are outside of this country, or who are um, who are willing to do your work. So for example, you like to eat delicious food, right? But then you don't have the time to cook them. So what do? So you find someone, maybe a neighbor or maybe someone, you talk to them, or you do some kind of advertisement, or you approach people, and in a not a creepy way, but in a way that they agree, maybe someone will agree, your cousin or someone, to cook food for you and deliver to you maybe weekly. Or there's a service, maybe delicious food service. Instead of eating junk food all the time, you make contact with people who are good chef, who can cook food that you like, and you give them some kind of payment, hourly or some kind of contract, like a amount of money, and they cook whole food. You buy them grocery for you, and they cook food for you, and you give them some money. So you're getting food you like, that are healthy, and cooked delicious food without you cooking for it. So I like the idea. I just learned it like today. So few ideas, small ideas, they put together in your head create something amazing. Like right now I always have some kind of ideas in my head. For example, I'll show you this note. So I don't know if it's straight. So these are notes I took with those ideas I read today. So I keep getting ideas from these books, and these ideas make me want to be an action-minded person, which is awesome. Like, I have never been into like, doing things as soon as I learn them. I'm kind of slacker. I try to be, kind of keep things for later. But these things, they want to make me do things, and I never got it before until I started reading books. So I encourage you to read books, and I'll be sharing books, summary ideas of the books in this channel, because I want to help people. It's something I like to do, and I like the idea of teaching. So whatever I do, it just stuck with me to help out people for some reason. And I'm not bragging, but this is something I like to have and I like to do. So I want to have skills in my hand, and I found the right place to go. Books. Okay, so maybe you should not read books like this book. I think it's good to read 1 page a day. Your goal is to not finish them. Your goal is to learn from them. You know how people think, "Oh, I have to finish this book." No, It's not a textbook. You don't have to finish it. You just have to learn something from it. So as long as you learn one thing from it, I will consider it to be successful. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video sometimes later. Peace.